Hi there. What are you expecting today? Because if you're not looking forward to something, it's because you are still stuck in the present conception of yourself. Today I want to talk to you about my perception, my take on self-concept. For the longest time in my life, I have struggled with self-worth, self-love, acceptance. And it wasn't until I began to look at myself with different eyes. But to look at myself with different eyes, when all I think about is that I'm not good enough and that I'm not worthy, obviously the same eyes that created the problem cannot create the solution. The same mind that created this problem to begin with, that I'm not worthy, that I'm not lovable, this mind cannot create a new version of me. So who can then create a new version of me? Who then can build a new self-concept, right? It has to be my higher awareness. And my higher awareness has, what does it have? It has a different mind, a different perception, a different mentality. My higher self, my awareness, can think as the person that I would like it to think, that I would like myself to think now. So who can help me from the outside? Nobody. My SP, my friends, my parents, my teachers, my children, my spouse, my partner, they cannot help me, because if my mind is in a place of unworthiness, not feeling good, it doesn't matter how much they're going to tell me that I am good. If my mind is bad towards the self and they're telling me that I am good, you can see there's a repelling, there's a rejection. It's not magnetic. Even though at the first glance you say negative and positive attract, no. You attract that which you are. So if I am in a concept of not good enough, not worthy, not loving, I am taking that into every relationship. And this is what I've done. I have been in relationships with multimillionaires, and I scripted down that I want to be with someone specific like that. And I manifested them, because thoughts manifest. But the moment I was in the relationship, I still had the mentality of not being worthy. So even though I manifested them, I couldn't keep the relationship because I felt unworthy of the house, of the gifts. And I know that sounds quite interesting and maybe puzzling for most of you, but this is the mind operates. I had a mind that was in trouble. I had the mind that was thinking of the negative. Does that mean that if I think negative, I'm going to attract negative? No, it's just that that was the desire of my heart. That's what I wanted. It was given to me. So you can bring to life something, but if you don't have it in you, if you don't have life in you to sustain and maintain the relationship, meaning you're still staying with that same old self-concept, the relationship is not going to last. So what needs to happen now, I need to rebirth myself, or I need to change myself. It's obvious that I can attract anything I want, and I can enjoy it for a moment, but then I'm going to lose it. So when we talk about an SP, we have to think very, very seriously. Is this the person that I want to spend the rest of my life with? Because you can attract them back, but if you don't change your self-concept, they're not going to stay. This does not mean that you put them on a pedestal. It means that if you truly want them back, you see something good in them. And most likely the relationship broke up because of you, because of me. It's obvious. We create the bringing of them into our lives and then rejection of them. We create that. So if a mind that created the problem, that same mind cannot create the solution, then I must understand, and then nobody outside of me can help me change myself, then who can help me change myself? It's my higher awareness. That is the higher self that already sees herself or himself as that person What person? A person that is worthy, a person that speaks lovingly towards the self, a person that praises himself and herself. So how do we do this? This is how we do it. Oh, let me pull a little paper from here. We must become aware. We must become aware of this higher awareness. Now, in order for me to illustrate this, I am going to share with you this this personal manifestation. This was something that happened out of my control, and I'm going to tell you why it happened out of my control, meaning I did not expect it. So I must have manifested it, but I don't know at what point I thought about it and then it manifested. I woke up one morning, I stretched my arm, I looked at it and I said, wow, you have such a beautiful hand. The word you immediately pulled me out of my body. It's as if someone was watching from outside. And I said, you have such a beautiful hand. I'm like, yeah, I have a beautiful hand. Let's break down the manifestation. The higher awareness of me, which felt almost as if it was out of my body, right? It was higher than me. It was higher than this physical plane. Spoke to me and looked at this picture. This was a picture. I, the lower self of me, this lower self concept, looked at the same picture and said, in agreement, yeah, you're right. I do have such a beautiful hand. 3-4 hours later, I had lunch with a photographer. Never met him before. We just chit-chatted a bit. And through our conversation, he reaches his hand across the table, touches my hand and says, wow, you have such a beautiful hand. Now, I thought that he was flirting because of the way the conversation was going, and I was not interested. So I dismissed it. I said, oh, thank you. And I dismissed it and moved on. That afternoon, I looked upon what happened and I said, oh, what just happened? You see, this higher awareness of you already thinks of you as being worthy and good enough and telling you or praising you. This higher awareness praises you so that you can come into, okay, so here's what happened. So this higher version of you was praising the lower version of you. This higher version of you looked at the same picture and you looked at the same picture. This is called agreement. This is decision. The higher version looked at the picture, okay? The higher version always, the higher version is the new way of thinking. The new way of thinking is going to see a different picture. Now, if the lower version of you looks at the same picture and agrees with the picture that the higher version put out, this agreement of the two brings about its manifestation. So who creates the picture? You're not the only one that creates the picture. You and the higher version of you create the picture. When two agree, it shall be done for them. What? That picture has to come to reality. So if you understand that nobody outside of you can praise you enough, you're still not going to feel good enough. If if you create the picture, and you don't have someone else to agree with it, it's still not going to work out. Because it takes two to agree. There has to be two people to conceive something, right? A man and a woman, a female and a male. Your higher version with the lower version, or the higher self with the lower self. Only when you allow the higher self to show you a different picture of you, you're both looking at the same picture, unless you allow the higher version of you to show you a picture of you and you agree with the picture, you with this mindset here, you will never be able to create that picture yourself. A lot of people have a difficult time creating pictures or they have a hard time feeling worthy. It's because they're not seeing a picture. Your soul is empty. You're a wanderer's soul. Lack of imagination. But we need to understand how we create the picture. So if your mind is dark, if your mind cannot allow itself to build a picture, allow the higher version to build a picture. Which means you must allow yourself to say this: wow, okay, I enter into the imagination, and there I can see a picture outside of me the way I look. And I tell myself, look, you look so beautiful. And then I say, yeah, I do look beautiful. And see, in the moment when I say, yeah, I look beautiful, I come into the present moment. First, I look towards the picture. I see it. I agree with it. And through my agreement, I feel it as if it's present here. I bring it down here. I bring the picture down. But through my agreement, the picture lifts me up. This is the attraction. The picture attracts you. And this is how you rise. This is how you change your mind. This is the thing that you have to keep rehearsing in the mind, right? Now, if there's anything that comes from the outside, such as, oh, what makes you think so? You must learn to reject. But see, when you're putting the picture together, and you're aware that the higher awareness is there present watching you do it, in fact, you're both doing it together, your mind is here. Your mind is not going out anymore. Because your mind right now is contaminated, is problematic. And somebody that is sick cannot see themselves healthy. And when I say cannot see themselves healthy, it is so true. They cannot build the picture. And you must speak of that which you have seen. You are a witness that this picture was created. There's two witnesses. You always need two witnesses. So you can't say, yeah, I believe. You believe what? I was a witness. I have seen it. A lot of people say, I don't believe until I see it. Well, if you allow yourself the higher awareness and the lower awareness to build a picture, you are a witness. You have been there. You can say, I know I have created it. I can expect it because I was there. The two agree. The two conceive. So you can't conceive a new conception of yourself because the word conception is talking about rebirthing. A new birth from above. And when we say a new birth from above, it's referring to that higher awareness of you that comes and connects with the lower awareness of you right now. And through the agreement, right, I want to make a baby. The baby is the picture. You're saying, okay, this is what we're going to give birth to. And just by doing that, right, it has to come, just like my personal story. So you can't expect your SP to see you in a certain way. And even if he or she does, which I'm sure they have, you had repelled it because you feel as if you did not earn it. When I was being gifted and I was given things and I was taken places, I felt as if I did not earn it. And it is so true. It is so true. Michael Beckwith said, a lot of people use the law of attraction and they attract what they want. But what happens is they cannot hold on to it because of their conception of themselves. They have not changed within. They have not earned the very thing that they have attracted. So you can attract it, but if you have not earned it, every worker is worthy of his reward. So if I have not earned it, I'm not going to receive it. You see, when I was growing up, I went to my aunt's house. I must have been 12, 13 years old. Mother would say, go drop something off or pick something up. And I would walk in the scorching sun. I would get there, tired, hungry, thirsty. And my aunt, I think only two people in the world exist that cook the best, according to my opinion, my aunt and my mother. So when I would get to my aunt's house, the first thing she would say, would you like to have something to drink? Look, I made a soup. She makes the best soups. Would you like to have some soup? I tell you guys, I was starving, I was thirsty, and I would say no. Because I felt unworthy. Mother and father did not teach us because they were not aware of this concept. And so I felt as if I did not earn it. I did not earn it. I did not feel worthy. Why? Because I've put them on a pedestal. I've always thought of my aunt and her family better than our family. Our parents did not show us our value, right? We were always told you have to work very, very hard in the physical, and that's how you get someplace. As opposed to that, my aunt's family, I could see a different attitude in them. The relationships were different in between them. They would respect each other at a different level. So I saw that, and automatically I put them on a pedestal. That's why now you put your SP on a pedestal, because you've seen in them something of value, something that is worth of value. But you see, when you begin to allow the higher awareness to praise you and you agree with it, your value rises. You appraise yourself. You appraise yourself. You rise in value. You feel worthy. And so how do you rise in value in your SP's eyes? Is to rise in value in your own eyes. And allow the higher self to create that picture of you, to show you that ideal picture of you, that it already exists in you. The only thing that's in the way, it's your old way of thinking. And so you must change the way you think. That's all that you need to do. You don't need to change your age, you don't need to change the color of your skin, you don't need to change your height, you don't need to change anything. Some things you can't change. But what you can change is how you look at yourself. And in order for you to change from here to there, even certain features or certain concepts of you or personality and character, always look upon the vision. Bob Proctor says we're lacking two things: a lack of imagination and lack of focus. If you cannot put a high picture of you together, then sit down and think about it. What would I like to hear from the outside? What would I like to be praised for? Body-wise and personality and character-wise. What would truly make me feel loved? You see, the ultimatum for us is to feel love, peace, and joy. And when we have the confirmation from the outside of love, peace, and joy after we have earned it, then it feels so good because it matches now, right? You attract what you become or what you are. And it's easier to hold on to that which you have earned. It's more precious to you because you have put hard work into it, right? We appreciate the money that we have worked for rather than the money that was gifted to us. And so in the same way, remember that the price you need to pay is that the paying of the attention. Pay attention to your thoughts. That's the only price that you must pay. And when you pay attention to your thoughts, the price has been paid. You will be willing, able to hold on to that which you have earned. It's going to be more precious to you. The things that they're going to say to you, you're going to value them. You're going to appreciate them. I know in this moment you probably look back and say, oh, I remember when they were so nice and they were so kind, because that's what happens, right? You value something that only after it's gone. But when you were in there, you couldn't. And so when you heal yourself and you go back in the relationship and you hear it from them, then it's an equal relationship. It's even. They don't have to raise you in value. You don't have to expect them to appraise you and praise you because you have already done it. You're there to just collect it. You're there to receive it. But you put yourself into a place of receiving. You see, one of the things a lot of people have is they have, you see, as your higher version of you describes this picture, right? And it says you are, and you say, yes, I am. This is the unity, right? It happens right here. But a lot of people cut this through resistance. They're not allowing themselves to see themselves in a different way. They're not allowing themselves to hear those words. They're not agreeing with the picture. So there's a lot of resistance. I don't know where you find yourself resistant. Maybe resistant in believing that there's a higher awareness. Maybe resistant in believing that you and the higher awareness can put the picture together. Maybe you are resistant to the fact that there has to be an agreement. Maybe you are resisting to listen and to hear those words. Maybe you are resisting yourself speaking those words. You see, life is in the tongue. When two shall agree, it shall be done unto them, but life is in the tongue. And so you are putting the words in your higher awareness, or in your higher selves, in your higher self's mouth. You put the right words that you want to hear. And right, you're both building this picture. You're both painting this picture that you agree upon. And through the presence of speech, you're giving it life. I'm going to share something with you. In the Bible, there is a story where Adam and Eve were kicked out of the garden because they have sinned. sinned. They have turned around from their goal, from their desire. They have missed the mark. And it says in there that they have kicked God out and God kicked them out. This is this rejection. You kicked God, which is the higher version of you, and you kicked yourself out. It's repelling. It's not attraction. And so if you read Genesis, it actually says in there that God cannot come down to earth to fix your problem. A lot of people look on the outside of themselves, right? But look, it can happen. It doesn't matter how much people give to you, you're still not going to accept it. You're going to lose it. And so understand this, that when God was kicked out and he said, I cannot come down to earth because you have stopped me. You're stopping me. You cannot fix yourself right now because you're not allowing yourself to see that higher awareness or the God self. And to become one, or to go back to be one with that higher self, to have that communion or that agreement, you have to eliminate all resistance. Everything that you have ever heard in the past from your SP, everything, you have to bury it, right? When you make up with someone, you've got to bury the past. But God also says that I cannot come into the earth to take care of your problem because you hold the authority. You see, this higher awareness of me knows that I have all authority to create it and then work together to build a picture. I hold all the authority. And my authority is in my tongue, right? When an ambassador of a country speaks, he speaks from the authority of the king or the authority of the president. The whole country, all the laws of the country backs him up. So when an ambassador sits in front of you and you go to the embassy, the whole country backs him up. He speaks of what he sees in his country, of what he has heard of the country. So you must speak of this picture. Okay? But how can you speak of a picture? How can you speak of yourself of being better if you're not seeing the picture? In your mind's eye, when you close your eyes, you have to have an ideal picture of you. And whatever you lift up to the point of vision, it's done. That's what it's saying. But God cannot come into the earth, meaning that higher version of you cannot overwhelm or cover this lower version of you. Cannot do it unless you agree with it. Through your agreement, you're allowing it to come and be placed upon you. And because it comes and you agree, you're both attracting. You're collapsing, so to speak. The picture, right, helps you to collapse time and space, and that picture has to come to reality because you have allowed it. Through your agreement, you have allowed it. And agreement, right, you need to speak. And you agree and you say yes, right? So that is the authority that you have. You must release the authority of that picture. The picture is the kingdom. And you created it by applying the laws of the universe, and now you must speak of that picture. A lot of people say, well, I can't see anything, or do I need to visualize, or do I need to build a picture? Yes. The picture is the country. The picture has its own rules. People eat a certain thing, they're dressed a certain way, they live in certain homes. This is how you build your home. This is how you build your business. This is how you build all relationships, through this agreement of the higher self, with the higher self. And this is how you release it. This is how heaven comes down to earth. And all is in the power of the tongue. Life is in the tongue. So if you can't speak of yourself in a better way, it's because you're not allowing yourself to be conscious and aware that there's a higher version of you that thinks like that, looks like that, feels like that. And you're not building the picture together. So now when you're building the picture, come out from that place and rise your awareness and look down and say, wow, I've just created a circumstance. This has to come outside into reality because it says within, so without. Now you're conscious and aware and say, wow, I have created this. This is going to happen. So now here's what you do. You go, I cannot wait to see how this is going to play out. I just cannot wait to see how this is going to play out. Once you rise in vibration or your way of thinking to match that higher awareness of you, you attract to it that circumstance. You attract to this new way of thinking, you attract a new circumstance. Which one? The one that you have conceived within you. That's bringing it into reality. So when you rise into that new way of thinking now, and all you do is think like that, you love and appreciate yourself, then you're putting out a different vibration, right? It's like a beacon. And you're putting out a different image. And that image, right, attracts to it the opportunity, the circumstance that will put it into a scene. Just like I did that act in the morning. What you do in the dark when nobody sees, this agreement that you do in the mind, it will be reflected on the outside. I did it in my bedroom, and then it happened in a coffee shop. But it was the same conversation. So what you do within, you're gonna do outside, according to Neville Goddard. What you do within, you're gonna do outside. So the only person that can help is you. The only person that can change your concept is you. The only person that can change your future is you. But know this, a mind that is unhealthy cannot create the solution. That's why you cannot tell yourself right now in the mirror, I am beautiful, because your mind is already, I would say, sick, but it's unhealthy in the sense that you can't flip that around. You can't just lie to yourself. A lot of people say, well, fake it till you make it, or say it until you can't no more, and it's going to turn into a picture. That's abuse. That's self-abuse. You must understand it takes two to agree. And so build a picture. It's easier. Isn't it easy to have an ideal image of you and then praise that image? You're not praising you, you're praising the image. It's easier to praise the image, isn't it? It's easier to see your body in the best shape and praise it. It's easier to see yourself acting a certain way and say, oh, look at me, look at how I'm acting. And the more you repeat this act, the more it becomes and it embodies you. Now, because you praise the picture, you're actually praising you. You are, yes, I am. And so now, see, it's easier to say, yes, I am beautiful. Yes, I am amazing. Yes, I am. And that's the process. Okay? Okay, that's all I wanted to say. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate all of you. As you can see, I'm going over and over and over and over and over again. I love this. I don't know why. I almost feel like I'm obsessed with this, but when you're obsessed with it, that's when it turns into reality. And you must listen to something 7 times. So you don't have to listen to this 7 times, because I probably said it 7 times within the video. And which means do it. Okay? I have my notebook here, and I'm actually going to do some work tonight. It's Saturday night, and I'm going to do some work on myself. We are worthy of us doing the work. And whatever work you're doing, you are worthy of its reward. And I want to say this too. There's a parable that says that there were workers that came in the field. One of them came at 9 a.m., another one at 2, another one at 8, and another one at midnight. They were all paid the same price. It doesn't matter how difficult or problematic your circumstance is. Maybe your problem is just early in the morning, you just have a little bit of difficulties. You can put the work and get the same reward, the same outcome. A person might have been in their relationship halfway through, or their relationship is halfway bad and halfway good. It's worse, right, than the previous relationship. If they put the same type of work, they're still going to get the same reward. If a person wakes up in the middle of the night and it's like the last hour, you feel as if everything is lost. There's nothing to be done. You can't do anything anymore. Or you still have an opportunity to work at your situation and can turn it around, and you are still going to receive the same reward. Now, those people that have done so much more work, right, they're going to say, well, that's not fair. Well, it doesn't matter. If you put in the work, it doesn't matter what time you came in. You're still, meaning it doesn't matter what time of a relationship you find yourself in the relationship, out of the relationship, 3 years apart, 10 years apart, across the city. That's what it's saying. It doesn't matter. You put in this work, you're still going to receive your outcome. You are going to be rewarded for the work that you put in. Okay, thank you guys for being here. Like, share, subscribe, leave a comment, and tell me how this "you are, yes I am" this agreement has worked out for you. Okay, thank you. Bye.